October job search.
Awesome. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, episode 2. We didn't get cancelled.
We didn't get cancelled yet. Yeah,
Yet.
that's more for like episode 10, I think. We'll
Well,
probably,
well,
we'll just have to kind of,
finance people coming
yeah,
and saying, "Oh,
yeah, that's true. That's
hopefully,
true.
hopefully not."
Hopefully
Yeah.
not. So this one, October job search.
Yes,
It's a big one. People
It's-
are searching for jobs and they're not getting them. They're applying.
People are graduating.
People are
A
graduating.
lot of people who graduated in August, September.
Yeah.
And now they're competing with people who graduated during the summer who didn't get any jobs.
Exactly.
It's and plus the pressure of it being Q4 almost and going into 2025 with a new job.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. A lot of
A
pressure.
Too
And,
much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
And then
plus,
on top of that, you're getting the usual email of like, unfortunately, you have not been successful.
No.
And you have all this pressure and you think, am I actually going to get into the job that I wanted? And there's so many people that I spoke to last week, which was insane. Hey, Milo, I want to be a data analyst, but I'm just going to do something completely different. I've done, my university degree in data analytics, but I can't get the job. So maybe I should just focus on something.
sales.
Sales.
I'll go into sales.
So many people
Yeah.
go into sales, which is
Yeah.
great. I love sales.
Oh, sales
but,
is good.
if you want to be a data analyst, you have to kind of keep pushing until you become a data analyst.
Exactly.
That's it.
Also, anyone can get into sales if you just know the product you're selling, by the way.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
We'll save that for another podcast.
Another podcast.
Yeah,
A sales podcast.
How
yeah.
to get into a sales job.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So October, you've got all those things that you've just mentioned, which is, okay, you're graduating, you've got graduates from the year before.
Yep.
September was extremely busy. A lot of people got jobs in September and a lot of people didn't. A lot more didn't.
Yep.
But how do you then compete with that? What would you think from your perspective now that you're in a job and you're not a career coach, but from your perspective, what would you give the advice to someone who's just like kind of stuck right now?
I think, first of all, understanding that, as like an avid job hunter, like seeker back in the day, I remember, spending hours on, getting my cover letter right, getting my CV right. Oh, you know what? I'll customize it to the job description of each job and doing that and spending hours on that, and then just applying it, and then sometimes getting the rejection email within 10 minutes. So my entire day worth of work gone. I first of all, I feel for you guys. I absolutely do. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It might be one of the hardest because, some of for salespeople, going and trying to get a job is way more easier because they're essentially selling themselves. Whereas people who are more front office, back office, middle office, speaking in finance terms, or analysts, it's a bit difficult to pitch themselves the right way. And again, I think it goes back to our last episode on the 3 things that you told us to do. Was, once again, if you can,
So you're
recap.
looking at the 5 companies.
Yep.
The soft skills, the 2 soft skills you have,
Exactly.
and then really trying to answer the question of like, what am I doing to share those soft skills with those companies?
Exactly.
Which in most cases are just application.
Yep.
So it's a really good segue into what the tier system is, which is what I taught you.
Awesome.
Which is 3 layers to your job search. And a lot of people, this blows your mind in terms
So
of how
you're saying there are 3. So guys, first of all, I'm just trying to speak from your perspective. So you're saying there are 3 tiers to the entire job hunt market.
There's 6, but let's go for like
Let's
the
go 3.
basics
Let's go
of the
3.
3.
Okay.
So the job search right now, think of it like 3 levels. So you have tier 3, which is application. You have tier 2, which is recommendation. And you have tier 1, which is invitation. A lot of people right now are stuck with tier 3. They apply, they wait, nothing happens. Unfortunately, you haven't been successful emails start really rolling in. And tier 3 is a really bad place to be because it feels like you're playing the lottery. You're applying to probably about 10 jobs a day. That's quite a lot after a month. Some people, I spoke to a guy who applied to 1,000 jobs last month, and he had 1 interview, and it was for the job he didn't want to do. So you don't want to do that, right?
How do you even motivate for yourself?
Soul destroying. Soul destroying.
Oh my God.
So back to the tier system. So you have tier 3, tier 2, tier 1.
Yeah.
Application, recommendation, invitation. This is how you search for a job in 2024, 2025. So you apply, right? You're stuck in tier 3. 0.47% success. Awful. You don't want to do that. Tier 2, recommendation. So imagine if you had someone who worked in a company that you want to work for, and they knew you, and they liked you. They would refer you and recommend you. Chances are you would have an interview, right? Okay. Tier 1 is where the algorithm of LinkedIn looks at your profile recommends your profile to decision makers without you doing a single thing, and a decision maker sending you a message saying, hey, would you like to apply to this job you really want to do? That's 71% chance of success. So you have tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. People are stuck in tier 3. They don't know about tier 2. Forget tier 1. It doesn't even make sense to them, right?
Yeah.
So if you start really figuring out how that works, recommendation and invitation. So you need to start speaking to people in these companies you want to work for. They know you. If you're the right fit, soft skills, company culture, work style, you've got a chance of being recommended. And if your LinkedIn profile with the algorithm is optimized, people see your profile and then they invite you. So that's the tier system. Those are 3 layers. If you wanted to take a deeper look, there's actually like 6, but
let's focus on the 3.
But this is the basics, right?
So once again, for our viewers, what's the chances of success in each one? Tier 1, 2, 3?
So tier 3, you've got 0.47% chance. So that's half 1%. And that's what people feel, especially when they apply, for 6 months. So if you ask an average job seeker right now, they make 10 applications per day for 6 months, and they have maybe 3 interviews. And that shows that 0.47% success, which is awful. That's where people start. And again, by the way, full disclaimer, it depends on the job. So if you're going for if you want to be a surgeon, probably doesn't apply. If you're looking for a barista position, tier 3 is probably, or tier 2 is a really good way, but it's not that bad. But if it's like an architect, a data analyst, a business analyst, a stockbroker, wealth manager, these positions that are like really sought after, they're going to be like that. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. But if you understand the landscape and how it all works, you really want to aim for tier 2. And then you get into the right job by someone referring you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm a product of tier 2, guys. I was recommended for a job that I did not know exists. It was a hidden job. Once again, I would recommend you guys watching our first episode to understand what more about what hidden jobs are. But I was in tier 2, and I got recommended for a hidden job at the London Stock Exchange Group. And that's how I was able to, connect with the right people, get an interview with the hiring manager, and eventually land my job. So talk to me through how people can change their situation by, maybe aim. How do they aim for tier 2 and tier 3?
So
from tier 3.
Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on where you want to be in what type of job. So if you're aiming for any job, and I want to be a data analyst, I want to be a business analyst, I want to be a stockbroker, I want to be this, your tier 3 is going to be all over the place. And it's just going to be playing lottery anyway. For tier 2, you need to know at least the company list. So if you want to work for a company that, let's say, is a top 5 in its field, you want to also focus on the other 4. And you need to know where you want to land. So aiming for a particular place, that's a start. But then understanding okay, well, what is it that these places are looking for? And you've got so many different things to consider. It's not always just about experience. It's what is a team like? Do I fit in with that existing team? If these guys wanted to promote me in 1 year, 2 years, will I fit into that promotion pathway that they have in mind? And if you don't know what that is, you need to then ask these companies, how they hire people, what their sort of thought process is. And then you want to be able to kind of imagine if you have an elevator pitch. So let's say a company of your choice, like in your case, London Stock Exchange, which I think you did really well with this part. If they said, okay, why should we hire you? You need to have an elevator pitch.
I remember, man, I was so nervous for that.
I can imagine. It's a great company. But also because you had that, you were able to sell the real reason, which was, in your case, the company culture fit, as well as the soft skills. Because you got into a role that required 3 years of experience, and you had...
Zero. I had no professional experience at all. I mean, I had a couple of internships here, but nothing corporate before joining London. So I was very fresh out of uni, and I was like, okay, how do I? And I was doing I was doing a job that was not really using my skills and what I had to offer, and I was able to get that interview, and I was like, okay, so how do I throw everything that I have and make sure that, okay, my research on point. I was like, okay, where the company has been in news, what's the latest articles that they've put out, and what's the latest articles someone has put out for London Stock Exchange. So I remember, Bloomberg being one of the main competitors of ours, they put out an article on job screening and sorry, not job screening, world check screening, and whilst they're onboarding people and like making sure they know their customer, and it was segue back to London Stock Exchange Group in a way.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, that's quite interesting. So I was able to reference that article in my pitch as well, and then I was like, okay, what? And I remember I was like, okay, what's your plan for when you join in? I was like, okay, these are the exact things that I'm going to do, and that's I was able to talk through those because I knew what the job entailed by
Mhm.
asking the right questions to the hiring manager in my previous interview.
Mm.
Yeah.
So knowing exactly like how to sell,
Yep.
but not from a hard skill perspective.
No,
So by the way,
just
and that's so important for everybody
exactly.
watching right now. If you're looking for a job and you're reading a job advert that requires more experience than you have, keep in mind that that company just put that there just to kind of get the most amount of experience they could. But what they might be really interested in is if they offer you the position, are you going to stay? Are you going to grow? And are those soft skills like you were able to sell and the company culture fit, would that keep you in the company?
Yep.
Would that allow you to
Grow.
build into exactly? Yeah.
Exactly. And how would that allow you to go from your current position to a position of leadership? Or because a company grows when people within the company grow with them.
Mhm.
And there's a huge internal pitch as well as like, okay, grow with us. And they spend a lot of time and money on our training when you are on the job as well.
Mhm.
And when you see these people who are on CEO level and management level, these people are not just because they're of their hard skills, but they have to go through rigorous soft skills training, which they have to prove themselves that, oh, they know how to lead this team of people, maybe just in one part of the world or maybe globally. You can't be a CEO without the knowledge of handling multiple people throughout the world. You
Mhm.
can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to be able to showcase that in your previous experience and have some sort of okay, pushing people and getting the best out of them. And
Mhm.
these are soft skills that we're not taught
Mhm.
anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But also, people don't actually think about what soft skills they need for a job.
exactly.
And I think that's something that imagine if you have a set of skills
Yep.
you didn't have to work for, you just have them, right? And then companies want to know about them. So you have like a combination that you're already born with. You could be a communicator, you could
Yeah.
be a problem solver, you could be, someone who works really well within the team because you motivate other people just by your presence. And companies really want to take advantage of that in a positive way.
100%.
And if you don't have any experience in a positive way, of course, not in a negative way, it depends on the company, right?
Yeah,
So
you never know what the company want to squeeze
very
you for,
true.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. But also
Yeah.
that kind of goes to my first point, which is like know the company lists
Exactly.
and why.
Yeah.
Because if you want to work for JP Morgan because you like the branding, but you don't like the culture of being in office all the time,
Yeah.
and you want to work, let's say, remote or hybrid,
Yep.
forget it. That's the wrong list, and that's the wrong company for you anyway. By the way, full disclosure, JP Morgan, love you guys.
Plus, they put out a new rule that the young junior bankers are not going to work more than 80 hours.
Really?
So
Okay.
it's good for them. But
Still 80 hours is,
I mean,
they capped it at a
they
specific
do
level.
get paid quite handsomely for.
Of course, I mean you have to put the work in. You get what you
Exactly.
put in. I mean
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. But knowing where you want to be and why, that's
Yes.
the most important thing.
If you can't explain that, I mean, why do you even bother? Why even get on the call? That's my question. And once you have that, and the problem is, it's quite self-reflective, that entire process of knowing, okay, why this company, why this position, why me? It's you have to answer quite a few uncomfortable questions to get to the right answers, and take some time, and you have to, and then you are left with a few options, because if you don't know those things, the entire world, you can go anywhere, do anything. But once you narrow these things down, okay, these are the things. This is the industry I want to go into. These are the company. It narrows things down, which might sound a bit scary, but it's the right thing to do because it narrows down for you where you can go.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because again, it goes to knowing thyself. Like you put in episode 1, which is quite nice. I really like that, and I thought that a lot of people overlook that. They just don't know themselves. And it's fine, by the way. You don't have to go on a journey to Bali to like self-reflection of who you are or what you're about. But at least knowing, okay, why this company? What can I offer this company from not just the hard skills but the soft skills themselves? And then figuring that out. like you did. You did it so well and so nicely that London Stock Exchange were like, this guy.
Exactly.
It makes sense. And also, 3 years of experience required for the position.
Yep.
0 experience. As I say that very nicely, you had no experience
No
for the role.
experience at all. Yeah. Yeah. No.
And
No.
that was
No.
amazing.
And also, I think they need to. Everyone needs to realize that soft skills is what's needed every single day when you go into the office. You need to talk to people. You need to be able to manage expectations. You need to be able to meet deadlines. You need to be able to pitch to clients, and these are the things you require every single day. Technical skills can be taught, even if you come from a completely different background. One thing I love about the UK is people have a change of heart when they're 30, 35, and they'll be working in finance or something, and they'll leave that. It's like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I'm going to go and do that. And they have this pair, and they're like, no, that is what I want to do. And they will go out and do that without having any further experience, any experience at all.
Yeah.
But it's just the will and the willingness to do it no matter what. That separates the dreamers versus the doers. I think.
Yeah, I think that's really well said, and I like your point about people that it happens at any age, but 35 seems to happen a lot where people just change jobs.
Midlife crisis is
a little bit. It's like, oh, I hate this job.
Yeah.
I want to do that thing, and I realize people are actually getting into the job I want to get into with no experience.
Exactly.
And what stopped me before was like, oh, I thought I needed the experience to get into the job.
Yeah.
Not really. Use the tier system: application, recommendation, invitation. Start reaching out to people in those companies, and it works perfectly for October because hiring managers want to hear from people.
Exactly.
They aren't scary people. They're humans like me and you. You can impress them. They are looking for a particular type of skill set. And if you reach out to them and you say, hey, these are the soft skills I have. This is the company culture that I'm looking for. Is there something in your department that can resonate with this, plus some transferable skills that I would like to speak to you about? That right there is a really good pitch for someone who wants to get into an opportunity that they may not have experience for.
100%.
And I think getting into jobs without experience doesn't have to be scary. It could be super authentic, where if you approach a company and you say, look, I have no skills in terms of the hard skills point of view. I think I'm going to be a good fit. If you invest into me, I'll be great. Imagine if you can actually reach out to a company and say that, and they respond back to you positively saying, let's talk. That would be pretty nice.
That'd be the dream. Yeah.
And it actually happens. It's as simple as that. And I think a lot of job seekers now, they kind of think, I can't say that. That's like against, the code of job search.
We think too much. We think everything is like, as I said earlier, that I think we think everything needs to be right. We're like, oh, no. This has to be right. It doesn't. As long as you show that you're willing to do something and some previous experience in, it can be in anything. I mean, getting a degree, first of all, is not easy. Even a bachelor's degree, a master's, or like, they're quite hard stuff. You can actually use that. You can leverage that into explaining, okay, how you overcame something, how you worked in a team to showcase your soft skills and make sure you match it with the company. And one of the reasons October is such a nice part of the year to do it is a lot of these companies are doing their budgeting for 2025 now. So they know how much budget they will have left for 2025. And that remaining budget, guess what, where it goes? To hiring new people.
That's a very good point.
Expanding
That's
their
a very
teams.
good point.
So
now's the perfect time.
This is anyone who's looking for a job right now and targeting by the end of this year in 2025. I think they have to leverage this time because this Q4, so many people are leaving their jobs and trying to go into new ones. Those positions are empty. People have they're doing their budgeting. They have this budget ready for 2025. Jobs roles are available. Budget is available. What's stopping you?
What more could you want?
Exactly, yeah.
It's just like you have the perfect opportunity and the landscape.
Yep.
Whether you're an international job seeker, whether you're a local job seeker, you have companies out there that want to hire you. They just can't see you yet because you're doing the tier 3 traditional application approach. But if you did the recommendation approach, you speak to someone, they have the money, they have the right requirement for you, you have the right fit for them, it's a match made in heaven. But the problem with job seekers now is just they're not really clicking. They're just usually using the lazy approach. Let's call it what it is. You apply for a job and you sit there and you wait. Guys, It isn't the 90s, okay? It's 2024 and we're going into 2025. You need to start really pushing the applications with the recommendations. So if you do the recommendations, that's what's going to work. That's what makes it happen, right? So pushing, speaking to the right people and saying the right things. And I think talking about the CV as well, that's another point that we need to hit on, because so many
another
people
first impression.
Mm.
Another first impression, if you screw up with your CV, I mean, the CV has to be so, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that, but CV is like, man, you almost need to hit the bullseye.
Yeah.
And because the how-to job approach does not want your CV to go through the system, the computer system, but actually go, a human being looks at your CV, it has to be right, because you don't get that chance again and again and again. And you have to make sure that when your CV is asked for, it's pitch perfect. Everything is like, okay, everything laid out clearly, concise, with metrics, if possible. Everyone loves numbers. I'm not telling you to make fake numbers, by the way, but you can quantify almost every single thing. Quantify that, put it on the CV, and then make sure that when you get that call back, it's like, okay, let's jump on a call. The preparedness, you being prepared, know your CV. Oh my God, so many people I've heard, I haven't done this. Disclaimer, I haven't done this.
Okay.
I've heard people put fake stuff on their CV and then do not know about it. 80% of the times, these people, when you get on this call, on one screen they have your CV open, and on one screen there's you guys, and then they're asking you questions on the back of that. And if you miss out even one of those, I mean, okay, one, maybe they might just let it slide. More than one, you're straight up no.
Right, so quick word from our sponsor, which is us, funnily enough. So are you in a position where you're kind of applying for jobs, nothing's happening, and you're kind of listening to this podcast and you think, these guys are onto something. I'm learning about soft skills, company culture fit, like timelines of getting into a role, what companies to focus on. If you find yourself in a position where you don't know where you're going, I would highly recommend you get yourself a job search power pack. Now, a job search power pack is, think of it like a researched document, everything about you and how you can get into the right role. Get your elevator pitch, optimize your CV, get a cover letter, optimize your LinkedIn, have some posts that you can post on LinkedIn, know which companies to focus on and how to sell yourself to those companies. If you had a roadmap, a structure, and a workflow that other people have used to get into their dream jobs, do you think that you would have a better chance at getting into that dream job? The answer is yes. So there's a link in the description for you to have a look at the Job Search Power Pack. Highly recommend it. Or even just using ChatGPT to make your CV better. It's like everybody's doing it.
2
and
years
people
ago,
ask me, Milo, should I use ChatGPT? The answer is I can't say no, but I also can't say yes because everybody does it. But I can give you some, words of wisdom when it comes to it, which is put the truth on the CV. But don't let AI do all the work. You have to obviously put a little bit of effort in. But there's 3 things to a CV that I think is super important. Number 1, ATS optimization. So there's a software that will literally say yes or no. Okay. That software is looking for keywords. It's like SEO for CVs.
I think that that software is a major gatekeeper for every
100%.
every job seeker.
That's where tier 3 comes in, where 0.47% of success is because of that. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is actually passing a human test. So let's say your CV passes. Great. You've beaten the software. You've beaten it.
Fluke. Yeah, a fluke in the system.
Trust me, it's a lottery. You won, but you haven't actually won yet.
Yeah.
So you have 8 seconds to impress a human reading your CV. So they've got an opening profile. They've got your key skills. They've got your soft skills. They've got your experience. They'll spend 8 seconds to see, okay, or nah, I'm going to go through another 600 of these because 5,000 applications happen. Let's say in London, right? 5,000 applications. And ATS software will dwindle that down to maybe 200 people. 200 people, there's people who look at those 200 CVs and then they think, okay, no. It's as simple as quick as that. So that's the second one.
It's like basically Tinder for jobs.
Literally, it's just literally Tinder for jobs.
Left,
right, left. Yeah, that's it.
My God,
that's it. And then from those, let's say 200 or even 500, depending on the size of the company and how many applications come through, they will limit it to maybe 10, 15 CVs. And from those 10, 15 CVs, they'll then choose 5. just literally by comparison of others. So they'll say, let's put someone who doesn't have a lot of experience. Let's put someone who does. Let's put someone who included some soft skills. Let's put someone who put in the company culture fit. By the way, ChatGPT will not help you with this by itself. You need to kind of like prompt engineer it a little bit. But I guess the last point, the third one for the CVs, you have to like your own CV. That's what a lot of people actually fail to think about. They do a great ATS optimized version of a CV with an AI.
Yeah.
And they think, yeah, great, this is amazing, right? But I hate it. It looks crap. But it's going to pass the ATS, right? No, it won't. Chances are it kind of won't, but you're going to have to like your own CV. Because when you get an interview and they say, right, okay, like you put, there's a screen with your CV, there's a screen with you. If you're doing the Zoom calls or if you're actually even there face to face, they're going to have these documents. They're going to say, right, okay, tell me about this then. And if you like your CV, you're going to actually sell yourself better. Exactly. If you don't like your CV, you're going to think, oh my God, I lied on it. I used ChatGPT. I kind of gamed the system and now I'm here and I can't sell myself. Elevator pitch needs to come into practice for this, by the way. But does that make sense?
Yeah,
those 3 points?
Concocting lies. I mean, it may get you through the next level, but it's not going to get you through completely, from my understanding. It's because, man, I'm a bad liar, man. First of all, for me especially, I can't just, I can spin the truth a little bit, but like not like straight up lie, which some people dare to do. Funny enough, a quick story. I was solving a Rubik's Cube in our work. Someone had it, so I know how to solve it, and I was solving it. And my a senior manager came in and was like, "Oh, you can actually solve it." I was like, "Yeah." And she said that there was, in a different team, a guy who came to interview. On his CV, he wrote, he can solve the Rubik's Cube in under 1 minute.
No way. So,
and his hiring manager, his name's Mark. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He actually called him out on it. So
really?
So this guy passed through the HR interview, the online interview, and he was called in person for an interview. Right. I think midway through, Mark pulled out a Rubik's Cube.
No way.
And he's like, yeah, okay, so I'm starting to solve what, and yeah, let's see you solve it. You put it on your CV.
Yeah. You've got 1 minute to get the job. 1 minute. Go.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
1 minute passes, 2 minute passes, 3 minute passes. This guy could not solve it at all. And yeah, that was it. That was
it. Didn't get the interview.
Yeah. I mean, see, now, takeaways from that story. He can easily have passed without putting that information on his CV.
Oh, 100%.
He put it as a nice, stupid hobby, maybe, which is catchy to people.
Yeah.
You put it there. Perfect. Please know how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Yeah, even if it's not under 1 minute, I think people will be quite respectful. Oh, yeah, you can solve a Rubik's Cube. Yeah. This guy straight up lied. I think he was pretty qualified. Come on, he passed 2 rounds before, and I think it was the last or the second last round. And yeah, just because of a stupid lie, he lost a major chance at a job that, I don't know what were the stakes were for him, but yeah, I mean, I could not stop laughing when I heard that story. Yeah.
Do you think now he's probably like just trying to figure out Rubik's Cubes and doing it in 1 minute? Probably is, right?
One of two things. Either he knows exactly how to solve a Rubik's Cube, or he just took it off his CV.
Well, he just hates Rubik's Cubes for the rest of his life now, probably.
I would hate Rubik's Cubes after that.
That's mad. I've seen a lot of stories firsthand about people lying and putting languages that they don't speak.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I speak French, German, Spanish. I had candidates that have told me specifically, I've been in the interview, I put in all these languages that I can speak, and they pulled in people who could speak these languages, and they've asked me to have a conversation. And I'm thinking, like, come on, why did you put it on the CV? And it's not even a role that requires multiple languages. It's people just adding all these little extras.
Yeah, it's like people are creating obstacles for themselves. And what we're trying to do is trying to remove that for them with how to jobs and telling them, okay, like, guys, this is the information out there. We want you to know this. And we want you to be prepared for when the opportunity comes calling. And it will, because you're putting in the work, you're reaching out to the right people and doing all the right stuff. And it's so important to understand, in order to showcase yourself, make sure you're not shooting yourself in the foot for later on. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Definitely. And also, I think fast hiring now in October, companies hire faster. People don't think about that.
I do not know that. Can you expand on that 100%. A little bit?
So October, since they've hired people in September, October is like a final push to get the people that they need for the year. So you've got October to November.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you're not going to get a job in November, but October, if you join a company that required, let's say, 4 interviews, they're probably going to do 2.
Oh, because they're trying to ramp up their teams before the year ends and just to get things through.
Because if it lays into December, they're going to have to hire you in January. So if you're job searching this month, you have a really fast turnaround. And that should really motivate a lot of people, because it's like, okay, I'm going to get into the job that I want to get into.
Yep.
I'm not going to have to do 5 interviews. I'm going to do 2. And also companies, because they have their budgets, like you said, they'll hire faster and they'll pay more. So you can actually ask for 10, 20% above market value. So if your salary right now is like, let's say 35, 40K, 10% above market value means you're at 44K, or even 20% above market value, which
just
is
because it's this window of right time.
Exactly.
And you can use it to leverage not only to get a job, but get a nice bump in your previous or a nice salary job.
100%. Wow, and also getting into the right opportunity. And I spoke to someone last week, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. Literally, this. Okay.
We'll not name and shame.
We will not. We will not name and shame. But you know who you are if you're watching this. And I told you I'm doing a podcast about you, or I'm going to put you into it.
You took his permission.
Yeah, I did a little bit. I won't name names, but this job seeker said to me, "Okay, Milo, you know what? September is busy.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait until October, November to kind of think about job searching, and then around December I'm going to start." And my advice was, I mean, I said this in a very professional way, of course, but I was like, "What are you doing? You need to start now, because you're missing this opportunity of October." And October is such a big opportunity where you're going to get a job faster, you're going to get paid more. And, you know, if you wait until January or December, you're pushing into January, it's 2025, the budgets have been taken by people placed in October.
January is a tricky one, man. January is a tricky one, because people start, and new joinees start in January. So then waiting for January to start looking for a new job is like pushing yourself a year back almost, because not only you lose these 3 months that are upcoming, but you also lose the next upcoming 6 months of because getting a job in January, people have already started. People are ramping up. Most of the companies are putting out agendas and goals, targets for their employees, and they start working on that. And it's not until mid-year that they start looking into, oh, actually we need this, or we need more people in our team to, do this job. And so if you're a job seeker and it's October, use this time actively to get the results you want, and do not wait until the end of this year, because you just put yourself almost a year back. And I'm pretty sure no one wants that. And everyone wants to be able to, work in the place they want to, do the job they want to, and make sure that you're not letting this opportunity window pass you by.
100%.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself, 100%.
I mean,
but also so many people are sort of relaxed now. They think it's October. Well, this is the faulty way of thinking.
It's
in job
autumn.
search.
Let me have a
I'm gonna
pumpkin
relax.
spice latte. Let me enjoy Halloween.
Yeah. By the way, eggnog lattes are fucking amazing.
I've never had eggnog.
Give it a go. Give it a go. Not too many though, but it's good. But people fall into that like, okay, I'm gonna just relax and wait. January's around the corner. I'll get a job then. Like, you're wasting so much opportunity and time. And trust me when I tell you, January is great, but the role that could have paid you 50K is paying probably 40. Again, it depends on the job. It depends on how many people.
Just lose 10K like that.
But hiring managers are going to be taking their time. That 2 interview process turns into a 4 interview
January,
process.
no one wants to work. No one wants to work. Coming from me.
You started your job in January, didn't you?
I started in February.
Right.
But I secured the job in December, and I applied in November, because I only got to know about you in November. I wish. Now, in hindsight, if I had known in October,
not even in July, you would have got into a position.
Man, I would have making 10K more if I had known. So yeah, guys.
What a way to tell you. What a way to tell you.
Wow.
The podcast.
So I think
No, but you're on a good salary. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it pays the bills. It pays the bills. Yeah, and some. So I know I'm extremely grateful for the position I'm in, and in hindsight, when I think, because at that moment, a lot of people think, oh, that one thing just clicked for this guy. And you see these, very highly influential entrepreneurs, CEOs, just like, oh yeah, it just picked up. No, it doesn't just pick up. It's just when everyone starts seeing it. But the years and months of rigorous rejections and work they've gone through before, no one sees that. No one sees that, and it's very important to understand, and start going after the things and taking action. The gap between a dreamer and a doer is action, and the best day to take the action is now.
100%.
And what's the action you would recommend?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
So
our
what do you
listener-
do?
Yeah,
You just do it. You just do it. I mean, not
Nike,
to quote
do
Nike
not
too
sue us,
much.
please.
Yeah, please don't sue us,
Please
Nike. I'm
don't
so
sue us.
sorry. But you
Yeah.
just have to do it.
Yeah.
Because so many people kind of think okay, job search stress is real. I get it. You send an application, you get it. Unfortunately, you haven't been successful. Within 5 minutes in most cases, yes, AI is doing that.
I've had that, by the way. I won't name which bank. I sent in. I put in half a day's worth of work.
Mm.
I was like, and yeah, I just went to grab some lunch. Came back, rejected.
Within like 5 minutes, right?
I have never want to destroy my laptop more. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's real.
It's so sucking, this entire thing, and being on the other end now, I sometimes even have nightmares. Funny enough, 6 months into my LSEC job, I got because I was applying for so many jobs before, it's like, you have been rejected after 6 months. So sometimes you get to hear within 5 minutes. Sometimes next year. I was like, man, I don't even want this job anymore.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, so
you got that part,
it's so inhumane. It's so, and it is actually inhumane because it's not people doing it; it's these systems doing it, and you can even slip through the cracks sometimes without even knowing it.
Yeah.
So and
100%.
that's what most people go through, don't
Definitely.
they?
And how do you handle that stress then? Because I think in your case, it was like, okay, I need to fix what's broken.
Yep.
Because you actually understood your job search was broken.
Yep.
It was yielding 0 results.
Yep.
So how do you fix that? You obviously started to think there must be more to it. And thank God you did, because now you're in a great position.
Yep.
But how do you handle the stress even if you've started to network? And my advice for that would be, I think you said this in a previous podcast we did, where you said you have to eat no's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with rejection.
Yep.
And you don't have to take it personally. It's a system saying no. Leave it at that. If it's a person that wants to speak to you and you do a screening call and they say, hey, you're great, but then you never hear from them again, they probably have 500 other people to speak
They
to.
have their full-time job to look after.
100%. Yeah.
100%.
So that part is tricky, and I get it. And I fully sympathize because I hear a lot of stories. Hey, Milo, I've been applying for jobs for a year. Nothing seems to be happening. What do I do? What have you been doing? Just applying. Okay, so the clear sign is you need to do more.
Yep.
But it doesn't always mean that you have to spend more time doing more. You can actually do more with less time.
Yep.
Because the average job seeker per week, I think, is 11 hours a week. If they're not employed, they will spend 11 hours a week applying for jobs. And that's crazy. But you can spend 20 minutes a day networking and you can yield 15 times better results. And that's because you're actually speaking to real people. And if you get no's from real people, you can ask for...
Actually, that's way more better than getting no from the system. I had a no for LSA job. I had a no from a real person. And but I was making connections and networking with people, and I got my way around it. And getting no from someone told me this earlier. Take it professionally, not personally. Everything
100%.
is professionally,
100%.
and I know everyone has their heart out, and it's like this entire process of job search heightens everyone's emotions. Hence, when you see people, when they get their dream job, they literally tear up, and people get frustrated when they don't get to go for the job that they want to go for. So you have to have that strong mindset of understanding that, okay, having both case scenarios and being comfortable with it, because as long as you keep doing that work, networking, and you'll see more results automatically. And you'll see, first of all, more conversion rates. So instead of having one interview with, as you said, with your client who applied for 1,000 jobs, you'll maybe apply for 100 and get 50
Mm-hmm.
interviews.
Mm.
So the pressure automatically decreases.
Yeah.
The emotions automatically goes down. Because once you have those 50 interviews, you're like, I'm pretty sure one's going to work out.
Yeah, 100%.
If it doesn't, I'll do the same next month.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure some things will work out.
Yeah.
And as I said last time, I'm going to say this again. All you need is just one yes to change everything up.
Definitely. And you're 1 yes away. And
1 yes away.
you're going to have to hit the right numbers to get that one yes. And if you don't hit the right numbers, you're not going to get that one.
Yep.
And I think people hit the right numbers in the wrong way. So 1,000 applications a year, that won't help you. 1,000 contacts on LinkedIn in companies that you want to work in, that will help you so much more strategically. And also to think about, there is an algorithm on LinkedIn, and that algorithm is making or breaking your process.
Yep.
It's called an SSI score. So LinkedIn has an SSI score, Social Selling Index. Gives you a score out of 100.
Okay.
If your score, you can check it. If you go linkedin.com/sales/SSI.
We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, we'll put it just
below.
right below.
Yeah.
Your score out of 100 will dictate who will see your profile, how many jobs you see, and how good your profile looks. So if you're connected to the right people, and if you have the right decision makers, your score's higher, and you will see more jobs, and your jobs that you apply to will actually be shortlisted more. So a lot of companies, they combine their ATSs with LinkedIn, and then they double check from your SSI score from your profile. So that's a quick hack. So if you just combine the algorithm of LinkedIn with applying in October and reaching out to people, increasing your algorithm score, you should be in a position where you get multiple jobs.
That is, you know what, when you say that, I also start thinking of the other end of it, what ATS for the LinkedIn score. And I was thinking for people who don't know about them both and how it negatively affects their chances of actually getting something. And it's just mentally, literally upset me right now because people don't even know. So many people. I did not know about the LinkedIn SSI score when you told me, and you asked me to check it, which was not very bad, but could have been in a way better position. And
so
you asked
usually
me,
when people check their SSI score for the first time, they have like 15 or 20 out of 100.
Oh,
and
wow.
then they think, oh, this is awful. It's not. It's actually okay.
Okay.
You want to get to 50, 60. Once you get to 60 out of 100, people start sending you messages in terms of like, hey, would you like to apply? Which is tier 1. So if your score's high, and then you get people inviting you, that's kind of where you want to be. But then you want to kind of further refine it, because you might right now be getting messages on LinkedIn with people saying, hey, would you like to do this job? And you kind of look at the job and you think, kind of don't like the company, like the job, don't really want it. It just means your SSI score isn't really fully integrated with your profile.
Oh, wow.
So if you start thinking about how to change it up, you can algorithmically get the right job without even doing too much work. So if you apply 11 hours a week, application, nothing's happening, that's the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing and they're not working and you're kind of not changing it. Let's kind of get a little bit more sane with our job search.
Yep.
Let's figure out the companies you want to work for, figure out the skills you have, and to see how you could effectively slot into that. And also, once you start doing the right things on LinkedIn, that algorithm score kicks into play, and then you get people inviting you, and your applications get shortlisted. And October will be a much better month for your application process. So trust me when I tell you, if you start investing into LinkedIn and just put your time into LinkedIn and start reaching out to people, don't send them messages like, we joke about this all the time. Hey, any jobs? Don't do that. It doesn't work. And so many people do it.
You have to tell me who sent that message, man.
Oh, it's mad. It's people send that all the time. And I have to tell them, sending that won't help. You need to ask questions. And if you improve your algorithm score and you have the right companies, you win.
You have to be interested. Once you become interested, you automatically become interesting.
There we go.
Yep.
I love the little anecdotes you have.
I'm only 25
quotes.
when I'm bringing these.
The word from the wise.
That's but amazing. I think, if you're putting in that amount of hours and not getting results, it's almost a shame of your resources. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone because you're clearly hardworking and you clearly will be a very good fit for a job that requires you. But the only thing is doing it in a more strategic way. And I think How to Jobs and meeting you, I was able to channel that the right way and get the results I want. And I could not recommend, like, people, guys, October, it's the perfect time. Connect with Milo. Our LinkedIns are in the description. or book a call with Milo. It's I think there's a link in the description for
You
that
can
as well.
find a link just in the description where you can book a call with me. You can look at Vaibhav's LinkedIn, my LinkedIn. We've got a lot of resources on the website, so there's a lot of stuff there as well. And I think that's a really good way to
Wrap it up.
because get the right motivation for October.
Yep.
Start reaching out to the right people in the right companies.
Yep.
And then you're in a great position. I think even if you just focus on that, you'll get the right job.
You just got everyone just needs the right direction. Once you have that, results start showing automatically. It happened for me. I started getting results by the end of week 1, and I had interviews lined up by the end of week 2 and starting week 3. So I would highly recommend you guys get in touch with Milo. Check out our resources. Reach out to me on LinkedIn if you want. And I think this is the perfect way to wrap up episode number 2. Yeah.
Episode 2 done.
Awesome.
Cheers, guys. Peace.